It's not a Bentley, it's not a Mercedes. Believe it or not, it's not even from Europe. It's the 2025 Genesis GV80 3.5T all-drive LUX 7-seater, and it's straight from Korea. Yes, believe it or not, this astonishing car is from Korea. And if you don't know cars and you don't know Genesis, this brand is the luxury brand of Hyundai, just like Toyota has Lexus. So, with Bentley styling without the price tag, is that enough for the Genesis GV80 to take on three dominating European rivals, such as the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE, and the Audi Q7? Well, my name is Salvatore, and this is the Motor Marvel, and we are going to find out just that. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss another time we make an upload like this. So how much does all this sophisticated Korean engineering and design set you back? Just over $130,000 before on-road costs. Now, while that might seem like a lot of money, you do get a lot for it, including this beautiful 3.5-litre V6 twin-turbo petrol motor that produces 279 kilowatts and 530 Nm of torque. It sends all that power through an 8-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive, allowing this 2.2-ton SUV to sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.6 seconds. In terms of fuel consumption, well, they do claim 11.6 litres per 100 Ks, but expect anywhere above 13. Honestly, I don't think you're really purchasing this car to care about fuel consumption. And for that, you don't really have any other options because this 3.5-litre twin-turbo V6 motor is the only motor you have available for the GV80. That is a massive shame. In terms of design, I have to say this. Whatever Genesis is doing, they're doing it right. Because it has to be, especially this GV80, one of the prettiest 7-seat SUVs on sale today. I absolutely love it. And I just love the signature face of all Genesis products. They share the distinctive headlight design and grille design. And I love it because it makes it iconic. It makes it Genesis and like nothing else out there. But people still mistaken this for some high-end European brands, especially a Bentley. I don't know how and I don't know why, but a lot of people think that the Genesis resembles a Bentley. Maybe it's the logo, maybe it's the grille. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think it looks like a Bentley? I don't think so at all. I think it's got its own unique styling and I absolutely love it. So you got these LED front headlights, you got like a sporty, aggressive front bumper. You've got all this chrome just to add to the class. And to be honest, I don't mind it on this Genesis. Now let's move down the side and see what that looks like because it all tapers off nicely at the rear. So moving down the side, you have that signature headlight design continue through to the blinkers. And as you'll see a bit later on, well, you can see now, to the rear tail lights. I just love that. I love those little subtle touches that make this Genesis stand out amongst the sea of other SUVs on the market today. Now you have 22-inch alloy wheels. Now while they look cool and sporty, they do affect the ride comfort, so be aware. I would have much rather smaller wheels and chunkier tires. But you do have a lot of chrome down the side here, chrome around the windows. You've got piano black here, you've got privacy glass there, you've got it tapering off nicely at the rear here to give it a bit more of a sportier and aggressive design. But one element that I absolutely love is the fact that the Genesis has soft closed doors. That is so classy. At the rear, you have LED rear taillights. You've got Genesis spelt out there in chrome. You've got GV80 right here. You've got chrome down there. And the biggest thing that I love about the rear end is that there is no fake exhaust tips, unlike some other European brands that insist to put fake exhaust tips on their SUVs. So thank you, Genesis. In terms of boot capacity, well, you have an electronic tailgate, which is nice, and the button is nicely integrated in the wiper there. Now, with the third row up, you really don't have much room at all. But when you lower the third row, which is done electronically, which I love, you do increase your boot capacity to 735 litres. Now you'd think you'd probably have to walk over around the side, open the rear doors and move the second row manually. Nope. Press buttons here and the second row then folds down as well, increasing your boot capacity to 1,097 litres. Now you have some tie down points down here and a 12-volt socket, but the best part about all this is that they don't just go down electronically, they also come back up. So the interior design in this Genesis GV80 has to be the best part about this car. Honestly, it is such a nice place to be. It is so luxurious in here that it makes it hard to look at the Europeans and go, I would rather that, because this is just, I just love it. Like, for starters, there is leather everywhere. Top of the doors, top of the dash, even down low. And it's Nappa leather, for that matter. If you want to look for scratchy plastics, you really do have to go down low. And even then, the plastics aren't even that bad. And then there's the general layout. Everything is where you expect it to be. So you have physical knobs for your dual climate controls, physical knobs for your volume and for your tuner. You've got physical buttons on your steering wheel. You've got a swivel wheel down here to operate your infotainment screen. Buttons here. I just love it. And then there's the two-tone effect. The olive green with the cream. I don't know about you guys, but I love being in here. And then there's these seats. They're so comfortable. So for starters, there's a massage function. And when you touch the buttons down here on the seats to adjust it, it comes up on the screen, which makes it really easy when you're driving because you don't have to try to find what you're trying to adjust. They're heated and cooled. You have a heated steering wheel. Okay. You have perfume that is pumped through the air conditioning unit. Like, that is insane. And there's 3 different levels to how much perfume you want pumped through. That is something you see on a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, not on a $130,000 car. Then you got a wireless phone charger down here, right? And to top it off, you have a UVC light. So you press a button here, you close this, and it disinfects your phone. So if you have kids and you need to disinfect, say, pacifiers, you can chuck them in there as well. You've also got a 12-volt socket. You've got 2 USB ports down here. You've got 2 cup holders. You've got your drive modes here. You've got a terrain mode. You're never going to take this off-road, but you do. And in your terrain mode, you've got snow, mud, and sand. And in your drive modes, well, you have Eco, Comfort, Sport, and My Mode. Then you've got a center console, which is a bit shallow. So the downfall of this interior is when it comes to storage, especially at the front here. So you got nothing in here there. Like, there's not enough room in there. And your door bins, you can't even fit a bottle in them, which is really annoying. And it's a bit of a shame because, after all, it is a family SUV. But the cool thing is this display. I absolutely love this display. So you've got this huge 27-inch OLED display. You've got an infotainment screen that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it's very user-friendly, very clear, very crisp. The digital driver's display has everything you need, and there's so many different options that you can go through. It's even got a forward-facing camera, and then you've got a head-up display. You've also got a digital rear-view mirror, which is really nice. You have a sunroof. You've got these nice visors that feel really expensive to touch, which I do like. And then you've also got a B&O sound system, which is epic. Like, I'm telling you, the audio that comes out of that is insane. The glove box, thankfully, is big. So if you can't store your bottles in the door bins, you thankfully can store it in there. Let's jump into the rear and see what the rear seats are like, because trust me, you're going to be amazed because the quality here continues into the rear. So, like I was saying at the front, generally speaking, when manufacturers design the front, the second row gets a kick in the bum because generally they cheap out on the materials. However, with the Genesis, no. The materials are still as high-end as the front. And then there's the comfort. The seats are as comfortable as the front seats, and they're electronically adjustable, which is really nice. The only thing is, you do have to manually slide them back and forth, which is not the worst thing in the world. They are heated and cooled for both outboard seats. You have blinds integrated into the windows, meaning you do not have to fit aftermarket blinds when you're, got the babies in the back here. In terms of fitting baby seats, well, you have ISOFIX anchor points on both outboard seats and top tether points. Then you also have these screens. The screens themselves, I would not option them. They do cost $4,000. While they're clear, crisp, they work really well, you do have to hotspot your phone to them, which is annoying. So I'd just get an iPad holder if you're trying to entertain the kids in the backyard. And then in terms of climate control functions, well, you do have second row climate controls. You do have a little screen down here to operate it all. You have 2 USB ports down here and a 12-volt socket. You got pockets on the back of the seats. You do have pretty shallow door bins. Again, bit of a letdown. You can't really fit much in these. But you do have a center armrest with 2 cup holders and a little storage area. Then you also have a second sunroof, and you have these vanity mirrors that are nicely integrated into the ceiling. I don't know why, but they're there and they're cool. And you can adjust the front passenger seat with the buttons on the seat here, which is cool because when you're fitting a baby seat, it can be annoying that you have to constantly get out and change the seat and come back here. So having that there makes it a hell of a lot easier. Let's see what the third row is like, because generally speaking, when they design the third row, they kind of forget about them and go, hey, just jump in the back there. Don't worry about you. But you'll be surprised to see how comfortable it is back there for children. I will say that again, for children, not adults. Right, for starters, the second row to get to the third row is electronically done, which is really nice. And then you just slide the seat forward. Now, you get into the third row and you expect, oh, you know what? It's a third row. It's going to be awful. Well, you'll see. It's actually not that bad. To be honest, guys, I have a decent amount of knee room and I can stretch my feet underneath that seat in front. My headroom is what's limited. It is quite annoying back here. I'm like crouched down. So if you're an adult, you do not want to be sitting in the back here. But if you're a kid, trust me, there's plenty to do back here. You've got your own climate control functions back here, which is insane. You got a cup holder and got some storage here for a phone. So after all, they have thought about the third row occupants, and the quality back here is not that bad either. Right, let's go through the safety features. It's that time of the review. So, adaptive cruise control, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot assist, blind spot view monitor, highway driving assist, lane following assist, lane keep assist, recross traffic assist, driver attention warning, intelligent speed limit assist, leading vehicle departure alert, rear occupant alert, safe exit assist, surround view camera and tire pressure monitoring system, and front and rear sensors. Now, be aware that most of the safety features can be turned off, which is so nice. So you can hold down this volume knob here and it turns off the speed sign recognition, which is amazing. And you hold down this one and it turns off the lane keep assist. But one feature you cannot turn off is the monitoring system, which I absolutely hate. You need to go through the infotainment system, through many options, and then you find it and you turn it off. Please just give us a button to turn everything off. I know I say this a lot, but it's just annoying. Anyways, let's take this GV80 for a drive and see what it's like out on the road. So, what's the Genesis GV80 like on the road? Well, to be fair, living with this SUV day to day is very easy. It's very comfortable, it's very quiet, and visibility is fantastic. A couple elements that actually aid usability day to day is the fact that it has a digital rear view mirror, which is fantastic. Because what you got to think, guys, is that this car is predominantly going to have that second row and that third row completely full. And when it is, your vision is obstructed. So having this sorts it all out. One thing that is completely and utterly irritating is the driver attention monitoring system. As you can hear, it just doesn't shut up. The same as the speed limit recognition. And I just turned that off. But the forward attention or the driver attention monitoring system, to turn it off, you have to go through so many settings to just find it to turn it off. And I bloody hate it. It just constantly becomes a nuisance. And if anything, it distracts you more than having it in the first place. But back to the good things. So I also love the fact that when you put your blinker on, your blind spot shows up on your driver's display, which is nice. So you put your blinker on, it shows you who's in your blind spot because there's a camera on that mirror, which is fantastic. It means you don't always have to look over your shoulder. So using this day to day is so user-friendly and is a very, very good family car. But I will mention this, it is comfortable thanks to these seats, but you cannot go past the fact that those 22-inch wheels are a detriment to the ride comfort. Honestly, smaller wheels would have made so much more sense because you do feel all the bumps and it's a bit of a letdown. How does it perform as a sports SUV? Like you want to have a bit of fun on the weekends. Well, this car can do that. You put it into sport mode, the seats hug you, the gearbox becomes a bit more aggressive, the suspension firms up, right? And then you punch the throttle and you awaken the 3.5 litre V6 twin turbo engine. Honestly, like, I love this engine. There is plenty of power when you need it, and it just sounds absolutely awesome. I would prefer for it to have an exhaust system because I feel like if it had an exhaust, it'd sound even better. But I understand it's supposed to be a subtle yet sporty family SUV. It's not supposed to be a loud, obnoxious sports SUV. But it does a job really well. One thing to note, however, is that the gearbox itself, while it is really good at high speeds, when you're just cruising and you need to overtake someone, there is a bit of a delay. Like you put your foot down and then it goes. So that is a bit of a shame. But once the car's up and going, it's not too bad. The brakes are really good. The steering's really nice. And even though the suspension is firm, it works really well when you're trying to have a bit of fun. The best part about this SUV has to be its rear-wheel drive bias all-wheel drive system. See, the thing is, majority of big sports SUVs or SUVs in this segment and in this range are predominantly front-wheel drive bias with their all-wheel drive system. This, with its rear-wheel drive bias or all-wheel drive system, you get a sense that this car was designed for motoring enthusiasts because it gives you a better driving experience. You don't find yourself hitting some corners and it understeering. You feel it oversteering, and you can have a bit of fun with the rear end because it will kick out. So all in all, I think this Genesis GV80 was designed for two purposes in mind. To cater for the family during the week, to be very comfortable, quiet and user-friendly, but also on the weekends to put a smile on your face and allow you to have a little bit of fun. And for that, I think it's a fantastic SUV. So what's my final verdict on this Genesis GV80? Does it have what it takes to go up against the Europeans, especially the big three? Most definitely. I know many of you might be thinking it's a lot of money for a Genesis, but consider this. If you had to option any of the Europeans with all the stuff this car comes standard with, you're looking at an SUV that is well above $130,000, and in most cases, north of $200,000. This car offers so much. It's got a beautiful exterior design. The interior is immaculate. There is leather everywhere you touch. There are an abundance of amenities at your disposal. Like literally, you've got a really beautiful infotainment system that works really well. You've got perfume that's pumped through the air conditioning units. You've got massage seats. You've got everything. And then you've got the 3.5 litre twin turbo V6 that gives you a more of a spirited feel when you're behind the wheel because it has a rear-wheel drive bias all-wheel drive system. And for that, I give it an 8 out of 10 Motor Marvel rating because I think out of the SUVs, if you're looking for an alternative and you don't want the Europeans, the Genesis GV80 is the SUV for you. Now, many of you might be saying in the comments, but you've completely forgot about the Volkswagen Touareg. Honestly, I don't even think it comes close to the Genesis GV80.